All right, we are so ready for this. We got, let's see, 11, something like that. Yeah, 11 packs of white flare right here. Got the solid brick, and then we got four phantasmal flames in the back. Little dessert, little treat at the end. I got really lucky at a machine, cost my whole paycheck, but here we are. So 23 votes for the yes on the video. So yeah, let's crack into them. For the 7 people who said, I haven't paid my child support, my lawyer answers phone calls between 3 and 5 on Tuesdays, so you missed your boat. But anyways, let's get on the first pack. If you don't know Pokemon very well, pretty much cool cards in the back when I open these up. And the law of Pokemon, if it looks cool, it's probably worth something. Got to get the random bullshit out of there. Let's see, I've been wanting to open these for a second, but I wanted to save them. So, I think I got 2 boxes for a really good price. Oh, starting it off strong. God damn. It's a little cute one. And then, nothing else on that, so. Damn. First pack, pretty good. Yeah, looks like, honestly, I opened 6 packs already of all this. So, not the true full pack hits. I'll pull out those after this pack. I forgot to show you. Oh, we got a little Pokeball holo on that. That's rare for people who don't do Pokemon. Honestly, getting a little off track here. If you're a dude, which most of you probably are, and you're worried about the, World War III kind of going down overseas, I wouldn't be afraid. I might have just discovered the biggest life hack for getting out of the draft. We're going to get a little off track here with this. So I've been kind of pondering, because I'm like, I don't want to die for Israel. You don't want to die for Israel. Nobody wants to die for Israel, and yet we're all getting, potentially drafted. They're talking about bringing it back. They're saying the only son law is going to be taken away, so that doesn't matter anymore. I've been thinking, what is the best way to not get drafted? And I've come up with 2 options. We have the transgender law, which that one's hard. That one's kind of hard. I don't really know. I haven't done all of my research yet, so I don't know how far you have to go into being transgender, but transgender people aren't allowed to serve, which originally was a bad thing. Now, not so sure. We could use this to our advantage. I might become Jacqueline, and we're not going to have to serve. But there is, nice little Pokeball holo, potentially a second option here, which I know a lot of you are going to like, but, and a nice holographic energy, damn. This option is kind of scary, but you have to commit all the way. And then there's a secret third option that I'll go over with you. I'll go over that later. So, first thing you got to do is if you have been, this is the law, by the way, U.S. law. If you've been in a psychiatric facility of any sort, ever, you can't serve. So, if the draft letters ever come around, and you got to put your heart and soul into this, you got to go to the nearest psychological facility and just have a full breakdown. Oh, another Pokeball holo. Damn, they're just throwing these things out there. You have to really sell the bid, though. You have to be throwing yourself against the wall. You got to be screaming, the angels are coming, Epstein. You got to go nuts. You got to really, you got to sell it. And if they admit you and they think you're like a threat to yourself and they admit you into the facility, you drop the act and you say, I'd like to go home, please. And they have to let you out. They can't just keep you against your will. And you'll be safe. You'll be fully admitted. They'll have your name, your identity, and everything. And that'll go on the books. And when you have to go to the drafting office, you'll be perfectly fine. You'll be A-okay. Now, the third option is a little bit riskier. You go to the drafting office. You lean down next to the officer, the drafting recruitment officer, whatever. And you tell him, I'm a threat to myself and others, and the second I see an IDF soldier, which is Israeli's, military force, You say, I'm going to air them, gun them down, and myself with them the second you give me a gun. Now, this is a risky one. They could call your bluff. They could think you're joking. But if you're like me, you're not joking. And they probably won't let you serve with that mentality. But I think the psychiatric break one is probably going to be my best bet, which I will be recording that, by the way, if I ever do get drafted. But, let's hope it never comes to that, because if it did, I'm going to have a whole lot of fun. And, you know what? Maybe the draft won't be such a bad thing. Unless it doesn't work. And then, look at that. Little Leavanny. Damn. This is a cool one. Sleeve that baby up. So do what you will with that. I'm not telling you to, kill Israel soldiers. But if you did, it'd be pretty funny. But I think I want to kind of segue after a little hit there. Actually, pretty good segue. Speaking of hits, I'm going to talk about my next topic, which I have a lot of personal experience with. Crackheads. I think crackheads are honestly some of the best wandering NPCs you can run into of all time. Like, crackheads know more about the city than the people who built it. Like, these guys, whether sober or not, they've been through thick and thin. And they've been everywhere that you're not supposed to be. So they know a lot about the city. Probably Roseville, too. Like, if you're from Roseville, talk to a crackhead. If you're ever bored, okay, well, maybe not, like, talk to one, but, like, maybe not get close to one. But, like, you holler at one from across the parking lot. They will have some crazy side quests for you to go on, always. Just ask them, like, where's, like, a really fun spot to trip balls at, and they'll know. They'll know some crazy spot under, like, a fucking crane somewhere, forgotten, abandoned building that you've never even heard of. And they'll have some, like, crazy knowledge. Now, this is a risky, because, look at that. Zoroark. Dang. Now, this one's pretty cool. I love how the dark furry wolf came in when I was talking about crackheads. Crackheads can be chill, though. Like, I've had quite a few crackheads come to my defense recently. Like, for one, I've had a couple scary encounters with crackheads, though, so I'm not giving them the full benefit of the doubt. But there's this one guy who came into In-N-Out Burger while I was on the clock, and he was at tripping balls. I don't know what the fuck he was on, but it was probably crazy. And he was telling me all sorts of things about what he was on. I still can't remember the name because it was some shit I've never heard of. But he asked me about In-N-Out and if they were hiring. And you know me, I'm a sucker for a crackhead. So, a little Reshiram EX and holographic energy. Nice. So I caved. I told him, no, we're not hiring right now, but you don't want to work here anyway. Started talking to him. This is in the bathroom, by the way. This is like, I had to go back to work, but this guy he would not let me leave. And I was fine with that. I didn't want to go back to work either. And he was just talking my ear off. And he was telling me, like, about how he needed a job so bad. And he was really hoping that we would be hiring. And I told him, no, we're not really hiring right now. You don't want to work here anyway. These people are, like, low-key, they're like, this is back in the days. This is, if any OG ball knowers are here right now, any OG In-N-Out people, it was bad. I was like, they'll emotionally abuse the fuck out of you. And he was like, what? They do that to you? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's kind of bad. Ooh. What the fuck is this, bro? Okay, whatever. All right, we're getting to the dessert here. I told them, I'm like, you don't... Like, it's bad. Like, the people here, they'll just, like, rip into you. And he was like, I can't believe that. That's crazy, man. And he was like, I feel so bad for you. I'm like, nah, it's fine. Like, we get paid enough to deal with it. Like, it's all right. And I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. So eventually he finally leaves. And I'm talking to someone else. And I get a little message from the handhelds outside. I had a headset at the times, and they communicated with me. Handhelds are the guys outside on, like, the iPads if you don't work at In-N-Out. And they were like, hey, your friend out here was saying some crazy shit to us. And I was like, my friend? I was like, I didn't see any of my friends come through. I've been like pretty locked in on who's in the drive-through. I haven't seen anybody. And they were like, I was like, who? And they started describing him, and it was the crackhead. And they're like, yeah, he started like telling us to like be nice to you and like not yell at you. he apparently he was just like saying a whole bunch of other shit. I don't really remember. I just remember that he was like he came to my defense like the fucking white knight that he was. What a guy. And he pretty much told them to stop being mean to me. And that was pretty awesome. Like having a crackhead come to your defense is like it's heartwarming. Like their life is pretty bad and they came to make yours better. Like that's got to be like it's got to mean something. I've had a lot of bad experiences with crackheads though. They yeah, they definitely more bad experiences than good ones, but that guy was pretty cool. Let's see, there was one time at night that after closing, it was like 2 in the morning, we were hanging out in the parking lot and we had all the windows down at the car that we were sitting in. Me and a couple other of the closers at the time. And we were sitting out and we see this lady, she was kind of talking to herself before. It's nothing too crazy. We are just like, oh, it's kind of normal, you know, average nighttime activities for anybody around here. What are the chances of 2 in a row? What the heck? But she was tweaking. Like you could just tell from a mile away she was tweaking. And uh, she's across the parking lot, like pretty far away. And all we hear is this like fucking COD zombie ass scream. Like a like as if she was charging the car. Like gonna break through the windows and everything. Like it was fucking nuts. That scream was all we needed to be like, okay, that's enough. We're going home. And it was like feral. I don't know what the fuck happened or what she saw or was tweaking about, but it was absurd. Which, speaking of absurd, nothing out of all 4 packs, nothing. God damn. Little review. Starting off with the 2 EXs. Pretty cool. 1 in 4 chance. If you don't do Pokemon, they're not that rare. These though, these are pretty cool. And then got these guys over here. Pokeball Hollows. And then Energy Hollows. Holographic Energies. They're not really worth too much normally, but they can be.